Conquest progress update. Development is going pretty well. We've made a lot of progress even in just the last week and think it'll be ready within the next few weeks for sure. No exact release date yet because we still need to finish things up and then put it through some extensive playtesting, but we'll try to keep y'all updated on the expected drop. December 15th, 2023. That is 2 years ago. 2 years. Okay. So for the last while, the Deepwoken community's kind of been in this vertigo of where's Conquest? It's been a very long time since they initially announced it. And it's just kind of been this like untalked about thing. It's kind of like become like a joke now. Conquest is going to release this Friday. Like we got gifts out the wazooly. Conquest will drop this Friday. I know it will. Guys, Conquest is coming out on. Conquest is coming this month. No Conquest this week. Better luck next time. It's like we all believe it's coming kind of, but we also don't. But no one's really like talking about it. We've gotten a couple like little teasers from different YouTubers that access, but we've had only 5 posts in the updates channel since Conquest kind of was like teased, starting off with the very first one we had. This was back when they were kind of talking about world events and Conquest. They said world events are currently being developed and are the most likely update to drop first. This will be server-wide events in the vein of the blah blah blah. You know, we did get that first. Yes, they did promise that, and that did happen. This is July 2023. Conquest's map is currently in development. Once the map is done, programming work will begin on it. Conquest is a new endgame PvP game mode with large parties facing off against each other for control of a map. So basically, what we know of Conquest is it's going to be kind of like League of Legends for the most part. Different, of course, because it's Deepwoken, but it looks a lot like that. You got the lanes, you got the capture points, you got the monsters that give you XP, you unlock stuff while you're playing. We know all that stuff. So this was July 2023. So at this point, they were only working on the map, and then they're going to start working on the programming. Just fast forwarding to December 2023 was that post that I said at the beginning. We've made a lot of progress even in just the last week and think it'll be ready in the next few weeks for sure. No exact release date yet, but we will still need to finish things up and then put it through some extensive play testing. But we'll try to keep y'all updated on the expected drop. This is now a year and a half ago. They have not really kept us updated whatsoever on the expected drop. And then only a week later, they do another post. So it seems like it's kind of amping up. We're getting close to Conquest. Happy holidays. We've been grinding away on Conquest, so a lot of patch notes this week are to help prep for it, including some pretty big performance improvements to the game. So this is still a year and a half ago. They seemed really close. This seemed like it. Like I feel like most of us at this point were like, Conquest is coming out in the next couple weeks. It might come out this month. I was getting pretty excited. And then they even posted again, another post, just right over the new year. So 3 weeks in a row, they posted about Conquest. Conquest progress update. Conquest work is progressing well. We've just finished doing a pretty big overhaul of the map for it to better suit the game mode. The previous version was honestly too big and would have led to some agonizingly long travel between objectives. Some of you might be happy to know that it no longer has smooth terrain. Yes, yay, we love that. A lot of the game mode's mechanics are now finished. We just need to do a bit of grinding on the in-match progression mechanics, and that should be hopefully ready for private testing soon. To get Conquest into your hands, so they wanted to get it to us really quickly. To get Conquest into your hands as soon as possible, we're thinking of doing a public testing period soon like we did with Battle Royale, where a casual version of the game mode that's slightly rougher around the edges will be available first before releasing fully with the fully polished competitive game mode that has unique rewards. Plans are subject to change though, and if we think we can get the polished competitive version out sooner anyway, we'd skip the testing phase. So this is like, we had 3 weeks in a row post talking about Conquest. It sounds like it's coming out really, really soon, right? Really, really soon. The next post they did was 5 months later. Early patch this week. Patch days might arrive at slightly different times in the lead up to us shipping Conquest, but should only be earlier than usual, not later. Okay. So we had a 5-month gap already from that original message, which was Conquest could be coming out in the next few weeks. But now, fast forwarding to the most recent update they've given us in the updates channel specifically, was it's kind of sounding like Conquest is thrown on the back burner a little bit in this one, which was 6 months ago now, a little over 6 months ago. Going to the new year, our priority is going to be wrapping up and polishing the content formerly held up by Conquest. This means you can expect to see some of the things we've teased releasing early on in 2025. So what were some of those things? We already had world events added added before they said this, so that was not one of the things. The only thing significant we've really gotten since this message was mounts. We really just got mounts, which is not really very exciting, and then a ton of legendary weapons, and since recently now we have the black market guy, which probably did not take very long to make. They have been optimizing things, which is nice, but doesn't feel like that's exactly what we need right now. The game's not really laggy. I don't really feel like that's a problem. I feel like the game holds up fairly well for what it is. So then they talk about whenever the Conquest game mode itself drops, it'll release on its own and without anything contingent on / held up by its release. We think it can still be turned into a fun PvP game mode, but as it turns out, MOBAs are way harder than we expected to get right. No, really. So this is a year since they said it's going to be coming out in the next few weeks. So whatever they ran into about how this would be very difficult must have been a huge setback, because since this message too, it's been 6 months. So it's been a year and a half total since they apparently had a issue come up, or they realized this project was a little bit bigger than they were expecting. They clarify and they say, we don't want to saddle all of the expectations and hype of a big content update on the shoulders of a PvP game mode that probably won't be everyone's thing. They do also mention, which I think this is what they mean, that Conquest will release by itself. They won't be like, okay, we're going to add all these different things at the same time. Like, Conquest is not going to be a big update where they add all this stuff with Conquest. But also, are they ever adding this guy's thing? Is it going to come with Conquest? Poor guy, dude. He won the competition. It's almost been 2 years. He hasn't gotten his weapon in the game yet. So this leads us to the latest post, and this is where things actually get interesting. I was just kind of giving you a backstory on where we've been. They're starting to do this Q&A thing every week, which is awesome. Super excited about that. This is exactly what we need. We just need communication most of all, because they just kind of leave us in the dark, even the testers in the dark. I feel like everyone's in the dark. So they did this Q&A and they said, we've talked about the state of Conquest in bits and pieces in different places, but the general statement we can give on Conquest is basically that pretty much everything that was originally going to release in one big Conquest update, which is what I was just saying, has A, been released already through weeklies, B, been getting polished so that we can ship it in weeklies, or C, been split up into its own standalone update instead of being bundled in with Conquest, or D, been scrapped for parts so that we can reuse it for other stuff. So that makes more sense on what I had said earlier with they have kind of released most of the things at this point. But for the Conquest game mode itself, we tried a lot of different things, but we just didn't find it fun or performant enough to really feel confident in releasing. We took a pretty big risk in trying to adapt Deep's gameplay into a MOBA format and definitely learned a lot from it, but these experiments don't always pan out. At the time of us saying it was probably a few weeks away, lol, we had got the map ready, the backend ready, and everything seemed to be falling into place. But when it came time to playtest it, it just wasn't fun, and it lagged super badly, much like the rest of the game at the time. Since then, we've embarked on a quest to radically optimize the game's performance and rip out all of our laggy old code. So now we're getting context. Thankfully, it's been over 2 years of just kind of everyone not really know what's going on, and now we're getting the context. They're actually talking to us. Super happy about that. Super thankful. And then they go on to say, the good news is that pretty much everything we worked on for the game mode can be reused elsewhere. If you were dying to see a Deepwoken MOBA game mode, it's not necessarily out of the question. So it's possible still, but we have a lot of ideas at the moment on how we can deliver what most people actually wanted out of the update. And don't worry, all the stuff we teased for Conquest isn't wasted. You'll probably see it appear in some other format in the coming months. So we're gonna get some stuff related, I guess, but it's official that Conquest is basically canceled. After 2 whole years, we finally got our clarification on what's been going on, and it's kind of a bummer. I feel like a lot of us were excited for Conquest, but now that I'm reading this, and maybe this is the same for you guys, I feel like it makes sense. Conquest was kind of a stretch to make like a League of Legends type game, and MOBA in Deepwoken is very like intense. Like they could pull off the battle royale thing, like that's like totally fine, but this is a little bit intense, and also it just feels kind of like a little too distant from the core game and what it is. But good news, good news, we have clarity. We have the content still coming. That means farming is possibly still coming, which is interesting, or maybe it'll be a little bit different when it comes out. But we got farming. Maybe they'll use some of the models from Conquest in some areas, some of the monsters, because there were some monsters that they had made specific for Conquest, it seemed like. But yeah, we finally got our clarity, guys. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts and just like where they were at before this post. Did people still have hope? Did you have hope that Conquest was still coming out before this? I feel like this makes total sense. Like, I feel like we all kind of thought Conquest is canceled, but since they didn't say anything, it was like, are they still working on it? I mean, technically they didn't say it's completely canceled, but for now it's basically canceled until we get further information. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Crazy stuff. It's been a long journey of this Conquest thing. I feel like it probably won't stop ever being like a meme. Like, Conquest is coming out soon. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have to think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.